Good afternoon, world. It is moments past noon here in Waxahachie, Texas, deep in the heart of the Lone Star State. And today is the 28th of April. We'll have one more show before it's May, and it's episode 138 of Grit and Good News. We're broadcasting live from our studios in downtown Waxahachie in the shadows of the historic Ellis County Courthouse. My name is Jeff Lynch. I'm your co-host. My man Sam is manning the book, the board, and making timely comments as needed. And to my right is our publisher of the media empire of the Waxahachie Sun, man about town, knows a little bit about a lot, but not a lot about anything. Scott Brooks.
Thank you, Bud. Welcome everybody to this Tuesday show version of Grit and Good News. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday, as you know by now, from noon to 1 o'clock Central Standard Time. We have a lot of fun here. We just average guys having a great time and sharing things with you, and hopefully you share back with us, which many do. So we are on Substack. So if you go to substack.com, it is the Google for most people in the literary world. So if you go to substack.com, search Grit and Good News, you'll find us there. For $5 a month, you get a boatload of content that we all three provide. We're going to be adding Sammy's got a new, Sammy has entered the columnist world and has his own never ending perpetual series called The Game Within. Runs every Wednesday in the Waxahachie Sun, but we're going to put it on Substack so that you have more content there. So for $5 a month, you get it all. We are glad you're here, so thank you for that. We got a lot to talk about as usual, and as usual, today is our 138th episode, as Jeff just told you. Sammy takes the last two digits of that and says, "Okay, hey Rita, what were the famous athletes across all four major sports that wore number 38?" And we're starting with football.
38. I do
I
not
do
have a
have
lot.
one. I don't know if I get his name right now. Merlin. Is there somebody named Merlin on there?
Merlin,
Nope.
no, not Merlin Olsen.
No, it wasn't Merlin
He was in
Olsen.
the
It's somebody
80s.
else. It was a defensive back
Nope.
for the 49ers. Maybe I got him a different name.
I have Deshaun Goldson for the 49ers, but that's probably not who you're talking about.
Who?
Exactly. We'll start with Arnie Herber, a QB in the 1930s.
Nice.
We got Cal Hubbard, 1930s.
Wow.
And then George Rogers,
Yeah.
he played for the Saints. And
Yeah.
then Deshaun Goldson for the 49ers. That's it.
George Rogers was a stud running back for South Carolina back in the day. I remember him in college.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
now we got NBA. I got
Yeah.
two.
NBA. What a weird
I
number
wouldn't
for the
know.
NBA.
I wouldn't
Were
know
there
this
other
guy.
names we should know?
No.
Okay.
We got Kwame Brown for the Warriors and Victor Kryapa for the Blazers. A Russian guy, and then
Kwame
Kwame
Brown
Brown.
was celebrated because he came right out of high school.
Yeah,
Mm.
and the lack of them is consistent with when we get to the hockey, how few it is. And I saw the note that normally that is a number that's given people early in their career or on the way out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a I don't know why that is. It's an average
I
number.
have
I
a
mean,
little bit. I have a little bit more in the
in
in
baseball,
baseball. Yeah,
uh, Kent Herbeck.
I don't have him. Oh
No.
no,
First baseman, Minnesota Twins,
I
grew
have.
up
I
blocks
have
from the old stadium.
Kurt Schilling
Yeah,
for the
played
Phillies.
for yeah.
We got Carlos Zambrano for the Cubs. We got Rick Aguilera for the Mets.
Okay.
Gary Nolan for the Reds, and Clyde Wright, Los Angeles Angels.
Anaheim. Well, no, it's Los Angeles now. They used to be called. You won't know this, Sammy, or remember it, but they used to be called the California Angels, then the Anaheim Angels, then the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
And I
Anaheim, isn't
went
that
to
Canada?
one game ever out there, and the stadium is called the Big A.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
nice. It was a nice
yeah,
stadium. No, that's where Disneyland is.
In Anaheim? So
Anaheim.
the Anaheim Ducks aren't in
Canada.
Canada?
Sammy thought they were in Canada.
I thought
No,
the
they're
Ducks
right
were in
there in Los
Canada.
Angeles.
Oh,
Do you remember the movie,
no.
It's right there in Los Angeles.
the Mighty Ducks?
Oh, the Mighty Ducks, yeah.
They were originally called the
Hey,
Mighty
Tammy.
Ducks
Yeah.
Yeah.
in hockey, and now they dropped the Mighty, and I call them the once Mighty Ducks.
Oh, that's
Boom.
something that you learn something every day. We
Yep.
got NHL. I'll
I
start. You don't have any?
I
I'll
don't have it.
start with Pavel Demetria. Dimitra for the Blues,
Yep.
St. Louis Blues.
Yep.
We got Vladimir Malikov for the Canadians and Boone Jenner for the Blue Jackets.
Those last two are nobodies, but you're missing Mike Vernon, who was a goalie. Remember, we had a lot
Oh,
of goalie numbers with the
Yeah, I
3-0,
only got three. I only
and
yeah,
got
he,
I
he
three.
don't.
played mostly for
It's
He played 20 years mostly for Calgary. A big career with the Red Wings. Got 2 cups for the Red Wings, and got the Conn Smythe, which is the award for the.
Best goalie,
You got it.
just a weird number, I guess.
It is.
I
Waxahachie
guess.
baseball. Speaking of numbers, I believe they sit right now at 31-2. They went undefeated in their district. I thought they were already in the playoffs, but now they're now in the playoffs this week. I don't know who they play coming up, but they play this week. If you want to see a good team play baseball and hear it announced really well, go to see them play at Richards Park. Great setting, great team. 31-2 is quite the showing. I don't know if that's the best record ever. It's probably
Probably
either
up there.
is or tied with it.
Yeah, and my,
Um,
my wife and I were sitting at that great little small downtown Italian restaurant. I don't remember its name. And I saw a couple coming,
Tomatoes.
no,
that's not downtown.
a couple coming out in their Waxahachie baseball regalia. I said, "You on your way? The game?" They said, "Yeah. You can watch your son." No, he played on the team last year, but we still go to support that team. I love that. I
Yeah,
love that spirit.
I haven't seen them play, but they're good. So
And
they're
we
they're
keep
real
ignoring the girls, but I caught this in today's paper. They are now 35-1, and they won their district, uh, the by district against Temple last weekend.
nice.
They swept a 2-game series. They won one game 17-0. They got a gal by the name Mikaela Landon with 94 ribbies. Okay, and that's about 3 a game.
Yep.
And that was before this was written. That was in the Sun column.
Yeah.
Uh, and one short of which was the state record for ribbies, and one short of the home run. And I bet she tied that up somewhere in that 17.
Yeah.
She got a couple homers and
Yeah.
some
They're
ribbies.
having a good year
Yeah,
too. Terry, don't forget 38 Roy Williams, safety for the Cowboys out of Oklahoma. Yeah, there's another one. So it's just even if we knew all the ones that we mentioned, still not a lot of people wore that number. You know, the one guy that wore that number that I will never forget is in college, Chucky Mullins was the defensive back for the Ole Miss Rebels, who I don't know what year it was. It's been probably 2 decades. Made a play, tried to tackle a tight end from I want to say Stanford, but I could be wrong on that. But in the end zone, he broke his neck,
Oh,
and
mm,
he was number 38. You'll see it on their helmets
yikes.
or statue or whatever. He ended up dying from his injuries years later. But that is a number I'll always remember because of Chucky Mullen. All right, let's talk about the Stars. We got game 5 tonight at Dallas. The
tied 2-2.
tied 2-2. The Stars they gave away game 4 the other night in Minnesota. Late scoring goal with less than 2 minutes or right at 2 minutes to go, and then lost in overtime. I mean, I'm not going. I can't complain about a good team like Dallas,
Right.
and I couldn't skate from here to the wall without falling down. So I love the team and think they're great. It's frustrating as a fan to see them, and I know frustrating for them to have it right there in the palm. They go up three
Right.
one, just like Buffalo
Mm.
is, and come home tonight.
Yeah.
They can close it out. Now they're in a dogfight.
What's really frustrating is when we can't get the puck. Like in overtime, how we
Yeah.
lost. They had the puck for most of
Time of
overtime,
possession
and
was
it is
terrible.
Well,
so.
the
Yeah.
the biggest challenge right now for the Stars is that they have gone 100 and I'll round it off. They've gone 140 minutes plus of regulation time, or I guess in overtime too, with no goals in 5-on-5.
It's all power
And
play.
yeah, so all their goals have come on the power play, which is good for the power play. But if you can't score 5-on-5, you're in trouble, particularly with against a disciplined team who isn't going to commit penalties. So we'll see what happens tonight. I know you're going. You'll have a blast. It'll be ruckus. and loud
It'll be rocking. It'll be
and
rocking.
exciting. So we'll see at the same time almost a 30-minute stagger, which is good because as soon as Dallas, I think, comes on first, as soon as they go to an intermission, so around Buffalo comes on first, I can go to yeah, that makes sense. Go to an intermission, flip it over, and the other game's going.
Start, yeah.
I know Sonia's probably listening here, but another hockey night. But
And we run it like clockwork. That puck will drop at 7:10.
so the Sabres, my other favorite team. I've been to many, 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 many Sabres games over the years, uh, and in the very arena they play in now, and love the Sabres, and they are a star team. It very well could be a repeat of 1999, Stars and Sabres.
Is Maury going?
I don't think
Yeah.
Maury's going tonight.
And they recycled a coach that was one of our former coaches. We had Lindy Ruff for 5 or 6
Yeah,
years.
Lindy Ruff's a good coach. I remember in 1997, I had moved to Baltimore for a year, moved back to Buffalo to become
Yeah.
at a more attractive level, and Lindy Ruff was named the coach in May of 1997
Our coach right now has a nice slick back going.
Doesn't he though?
Yeah,
for
It
for
had
the
the
Stars.
Gullet.
Gulletson. Yeah,
But
And
you
then
know
and then
what
the
when
other one looks always has a RBF. He looks
what's
just
that mean?
resting B word face. He always just standing there looking
On the
serious.
Minnesota,
Yeah,
who is the
he's
coach
a
in
he's the
Minnesota?
Hines.
Yeah, I
yeah.
can't picture him.
He looks so angry all the
Well,
time.
I'm
He
not
does, yeah.
I'm not. It's amazing how quickly you can become a, I don't mean hater in the truest sense, but a real disliker of the team that you're playing in the playoffs. Otherwise, any other time of the year, you may like them. So I've never really had a problem with the Minnesota Wild, but now that they're playing the Stars, I hate them.
Well,
But
that arena wasn't as bad as I expected it with all of the hatred they have for you stole our
yeah,
stars, and then all the hatred that's now
yeah.
enveloped the whole state. I expected a lot worse,
Well, we'll
frankly.
see what happens tonight. But two big games uh, tonight, and then there are other games that are going on. The Edmonton Oilers on the brink
Hmm.
Please get them out.
of being beat by the Anaheim Ducks. The Pittsburgh Penguins have won two in a row after going down 3-0. So now they go back to Philadelphia tomorrow night. We'll see if they can come back. I lived in Pittsburgh as well and like the Penguins. And then else do we have? With Colorado has beaten
They're
the
waiting. They're gonna
Kings.
have like 8 days probably of
Yeah.
just resting.
So it's
Real
getting
quick, did y'all
fired up.
see that fight? We're switching to baseball. Did y'all see that fight last night? In the stands,
Mm,
Rangers and a Yankee fan. That Yankee fan was bloody. They got
yeah.
into it though. I didn't know
Well,
if y'all saw it.
we don't have, well, we do have Rangers on our list. They lost last night 4-2. They're gonna, I mean, they're at the top of their division, maybe second place with the A's.
We might as well just
So
be
we'll see.
thankful that we're in this division. Because if we're anywhere else, we're not making
Yeah,
the
no, I
playoffs.
hear you. All right, so then let me just mention the Cowboys draft. If you, on a scale of, grading scale A to F, what would you give the Cowboys?
I give it an A.
What do you
I'd
get?
give it an A, and the paper had it, and it wasn't the paper's rating. This was the Associated Press of all 32 teams. There were 5 A's, A pluses or A minuses, five total in the A category out of 32.
Yeah,
So that's
and Cowboys.
pretty salty.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand the Giants passing on Caleb Downs
Twice.
twice, and so we end up with Caleb Downs, who's a stud.
Well, there's
And
some people said that there was some lingering feelings about uh, knee issues.
yeah, but I
Mhm.
think that's all been checked
Yeah.
out.
I think so,
But
but that was enough to scare him.
in his opening interview or his opening remarks, he thanked God, he thanked his parents, his sister. It just seems like a sharp,
How nice did he
articulate,
look in
great
that
kid.
suit?
He looked good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes me back to Goober, Ezekiel,
Zeke.
an idiot. But anyway, so the Cowboys had a great draft. The defense, which has been our Achilles heel now for what, 2 or 3 years at least, uh, it is it has the potential to be a stud defense.
We traded a late, like a sixth or seventh rounder for a player off the 49ers that can play now, and I
Yeah, a
love that move.
linebacker.
Yeah, a linebacker.
So
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, I think we're well suited to, and I'm going to challenge Sammy. Well suited to do really well. I'm going to challenge you to think about between now and football season starting, going out there with your column and saying, "This is the year."
Well, I
I mean,
tell you
that'll be
what,
funny, but
we have 18 new players between free agents we signed in that
Mhm.
week in the draft, and after anguishing for months, I have decided that I will exercise my seat option and make my first down payment, my first third on May 1 when it's due.
Well, I'm not going to jump on the. I'm not on a bandwagon because those of us that have been fans for decades, it's not a bandwagon. Uh, but as a matter of fact, I say if you've been a fan of a team, if you've proven that you can be a fan of a team when they're down, even if you kicked them when they were down verbally, like sorry Cowboy, uh, but if you stuck with them through thick and thin, like Maury has through thick and thin with the Bills, or like we have with some of our teams, then you're not a bandwagon team. It's only when
Right.
you jump on and off.
And if you
Uh,
put your money where your mouth is, and it's 16 years I'm doing that for them,
yeah.
okay?
Well, anyway, so the Terry says Cowboys do have some studs. Defense is going to be awesome. I think they're going to be incredible to watch. And if Pickens, here's the deal for me: if Pickens can have the right attitude and stay fired up and stay energized and focused and just what you want to see out of like a goat, then the Cowboys may be in some ways unstoppable
But guess what?
because they've got a great offense. We know that. We'll see about their defense.
This is the
So
one article I did not read in the Sports Today. Pickens misses first
yeah,
day of workouts.
yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully there's a reason for that because if he becomes a problem, that's what's going to bring the Cowboys down. It's not going to be talent, and I can't remember their new defensive coordinator's name, but we'll see. So going to be exciting. But Sammy, the challenge is on. If you believe it, because you don't want to write a column you don't believe 100%, but if you believe it, this may be the year when you can finally come out and say we got a real shot.
I have to believe it. Gotta do
All
some
right.
research. Gotta
Well, you
look
have to
at it.
go. You do some research. Got to go through training
Yeah,
camp, and see what.
make sure nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, and see
Anything
what
like
that
Didn't
looks like.
Dak get hurt last year? No, that was the year
Dak
before.
always gets dinged up in training camp, but then he comes out
Well, he
ready to
tore
go.
it, or he did something to his hamstring. That
Well,
might have
that
been
was
2 years
a year ago.
ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
2 years ago.
Tore it away from the
He was
bone.
out. He was out for the
Rest of
majority
it.
of the season. All right, so there you have it on the sports side. Let me just talk about a few Tarnations. Jimmy Kimmel. You know what? I don't watch any of that stuff. I have never watched a single thing. I don't know you call it an episode, but certainly not a monologue. I've heard Jimmy Kimmel speak briefly, but I've never listened to the dude, nor have I listened to the others. But for him to do and say what he did the other night, leading into this assassination attempt, I don't know what else ABC needs to know that they've got a rotten
Do we got
dude.
a clip on that?
Uh,
I don't.
we have a
What
Kimmel clip, don't we?
I don't think so.
what
Let's
did
see.
he say? I did not
He
get that.
said in a they were doing I don't know what it was for his show. I think it was a not a dry run, but he was acting like he was emceeing it,
Hmm.
and it was showing him at a podium, and presumably they want you to believe because they were playing games with the TV that Melania and everybody else was in the audience, and he said, and it's nice to see Melania Trump here, and she's got that glow like an expectant widow. And then 2 nights later, we had what happened. It's just here's what I don't get. And maybe one of y'all can help me. I don't know. But as a small business guy, as somebody who knows what it means to invest everything you got, as somebody who knows what the importance of a brand. I already knew the importance of a brand, but when you have your own brand, like we bought some new hats that Sammy's wearing one of them. Let me see it, Sam. Let's show it on camera. Can y'all see it? Turn it a little bit more. Yeah. So it says Grit and Good News. We'll be wearing those on the show, and we're looking at making some shirts that say "What in a Tarnation." But brand is like your name, like a person's name. ABC's brand is sullied by a guy named Jimmy Kimmel. Yet they keep him, and I can't figure out the redeeming value of keeping a guy like Jimmy Kimmel. What redeeming value is there? One thing, just one.
Hey, here's something I find to be an odd contradiction. Before he got really, really political in the last 2 or 3 years, when he was hosting Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, he was about as good as you ever get on that show. And when you had your lifelines, and one of them is to ask the host, boy, if you ask the host, because that was what you were down to, he came through with the answers. That's
Well, somebody told him the answer.
I don't know.
Well, well, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I don't know either. But anyway, I don't understand if nothing, if something, you have somebody or something in your life that has no contributory value to you, has no redeeming value outside the realms or
Yeah,
the bounds or the relationships of family, where many a family has stayed true to someone who is causing them like grief and uh, money and despair because they're a drug addict or something like that. I get that, but when you're a brand in the marketplace
right.
and I mean, it'd be one thing if his ratings were through the roof. It'd be one thing if he were, 99% of the time he was spot on and excellent, which would mean be why his ratings were up. That would maybe I could get it, but it's like having a person as a sales rep. We've had them over the years, in every place I've been, where they are smart alecks or cocky or whatever, but they could sell and generate all kinds of revenue. And you're like, I'll just hold my nose, put up with this nonsense because he's a producer.
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel is the equivalent of a sales rep who couldn't sell his way out of a wet paper bag, has a bad attitude, is unappealing in every way. No company's going to keep that person. What do they keep? Are they just making a statement to Trump that
Right.
you're not going to help? You're not going to mandate who we get rid of. But Jimmy Kimmel, I saw a post that the communications director for Trump, he's the guy, he's the Chinese guy, he's really sharp, whose job is to rapid response when comments are made in the social realm. And he came out yesterday or today and just said, look, Jimmy Kimmel he used the S word, SHIT person. He's just a lousy human being. And that's what I've come to believe about the guy. And that ABC, for weird reasons, can't be greed, must be born out of hate for Trump. Keep him.
Right. And I think what's odd is that comedy, a lot of it historically has been based on um, satire and making fun of people. That's
Yeah,
always been a thing. But now it's just turned into political vitriol.
yeah, it
And
is.
and and it's just if that's where you need to get your jokes,
Yeah, that you're not a comedian.
This was posted 7 hours ago by Fox News. It says Jimmy Kimmel fires back at the Trumps, offers no apology for the expectant widow joke. It says um, that defending his joke and insisting it was about their
His
age
age.
difference.
Yeah.
And Jimmy said it was not by any stretch of the definition a call to assassination, and they know that.
So I say
because of that
this,
age difference.
of course he's going to come up with a reason why he said it that doesn't have anything to do with why he really said it.
Revisionist history, thank
Yeah,
you.
he's a punk, and I don't know why ABC keeps him. I want to mention going back to the draft real quick. Diego Pavia, who's the little dude that played well. I mean, he led Vanderbilt to all kinds of records, and they were a 10-win team, I think. They beat Bama most certainly. They did really well while Diego Pavia was there as quarterback. But Diego Pavia, there was a time during these past 2 years when he talked about his values, and he asserted that they were Christian values, and that he sounded a lot like Caleb Downs. Well, progress progressively, he became more of a hockey Johnny Manziel type. Who I know there are Texas A&M fans watching. I think Johnny Manziel is the bottom of the barrel.
Whoa, whoa, now best
Sammy,
college quarterback ever.
my son,
But
just gets
especially
on my nerves to get on my nerves.
especially during the Heisman race when the finalists were announced, he was going crazy, like
Pavia, yeah.
knocking
Well, he
um
knocked Fernando, that
Fernando,
Mendoza.
probably the nicest dude you can ever meet on this earth, and
Yeah, I
Diego
mean,
was.
Diego was being an ass.
Yeah.
And so it's like Manziel. I mean, I think Manziel was eventually drafted.
He
Well, I
was
know he
drafted to the
was by the
Browns. Yeah.
Browns, and I think the 22nd pick in that draft, and then lasted,
A
as
year.
long as I do on a 100-yard walk.
Hmm.
But and then along comes Diego Pavia and takes on the persona of Johnny Manziel, and the only thing he got out of this draft was an invite as an undrafted free agent to the Baltimore Ravens.
He had all the hats set up. He had a party going
Did he
on.
really?
He did. He really thought he was gonna go.
And didn't I know I read this that he's the only Heisman finalist ever not to go in the
Be
draft.
drafted.
Yeah.
Yep. I think in part there's the NFL, the teams are saying, and you can't collude, but I don't think you have to be collude to have the same opinion of Diego Pavia.
Right.
Well, first of all, he's 5'9".
Well, yeah, I mean
That
he's gonna
from the base of it.
Doug Flutie though, which was before your time. Doug Flutie played for Buffalo when I lived there, and I mean he's 5'9", but he had a great attitude. He was a leader,
That's the he's
and
got.
he could
Diego
play.
doesn't have a great attitude.
I
Yeah,
saw him at the Cotton Bowl, my only two Cotton Bowls against Houston in the
yeah,
late '80s on a
he
cold day.
he can play, and so I think Flutie set the standard for short fellas at the quarterback position. But Diego Pavia is learning a hard lesson.
Well, and you know what? Now it's your time to put up instead of shut up, or shut up and put up. And help me, Sam, but wasn't it Brock Purdy from Iowa State was undrafted and
Mm,
No, he
took
He
was
was the
Mr.
Mr.
Irrelevant.
Irrelevant, the last pick in the
the
draft.
last pick. Okay,
Yeah, so I
that's
mean,
almost the same though,
Yeah.
right?
yeah, and
Okay.
ironically, the Mr. Irrelevant this year was from the University of Buffalo.
Oh, really? Do you
I don't
know?
know.
Okay.
I don't know anything about him. But and again, we all should remember that Tom Brady was drafted in the sixth round,
Oh, I thought it was 7th.
sixth
Wow.
round, and became the greatest quarterback
Tony
ever.
Romo maybe the fifth, I believe.
Yeah, he may. But so there's always an opportunity. I just think Diego Pavia, young people around us need to learn a lesson from Diego Pavia. Uh, Sammy, cue up the Jamie Raskin video, if you will. So we're switching back here to Jimmy Kimmel and that issue. Um, the okay, there it is. What I want you to hear is what the left, particularly Jamie Raskin, said in an interview about what happened Saturday night. So again, for those of you that don't know, and I'm sure all of you do, so I'm not going to belabor the point, but the third assassination attempt on Trump occurred Saturday night at the Hilton in Washington, D.C. I told Sonia I've been to uh, that event before, and it is a glorious, fun event.
Black tie.
I had a great time, and that was when Bush and Cheney were in office, and there was security, but I told Sonia last night, I said the security back then when I went to there and I went to the White House too, the same thing as you find at the Stars or at the Rangers or at the Cowboys. And that was as simple as it was. Evidently, that's pretty much what it is now. But to have this, it was not at the Hilton when I went. I don't think. I can't remember. But to have this event in a hotel is just dumb to me. And I never really thought of it until now, because of what happened. And this guy's room was one floor above, just right above the ballroom. And so,
I was gonna say, how does this happen when Trump? This is the third time. How does that even happen? But I
well,
didn't
this
know.
guy bum rushed the FBI, and I guess if you're if you're insane enough to believe you're going to be able to kill the president in a setting like that, then you're insane enough to come up with a plan where you just bum rush the FBI and
Was
he's
he
shooting.
was he killed?
No,
Oh,
no, he was shot at 5 times
oh.
by the FBI, but missed
And
every
that was
time.
all in the foyer. He never
Yeah,
got
he never
into
he
the
got
room.
no,
Yeah.
never got to the room.
Yeah, yeah.
He tripped and fell is what happened. After shooting, if you see the video, you see him shoot. You can see the FBI guy that got shot in the chest because he bends over and then he starts shooting because it hit his bulletproof
The
vest.
vest, yeah.
But the guy fell down. So we have all that happen. We know the vitriol that's coming from every direction. I'm not going to be foolish enough just to say it's from the left. A lot of it, most of it, particularly the ultra-violent stuff, is coming from the left. This is how Jamie Raskin, who's a rat, if there ever was a rat in politics, this is how he played it off in an interview with CNN. I wanted you to hear it. Yeah.
Many of your fellow Democrats have used some heated rhetoric against the president. And do you think twice about that when something like this happens?
What rhetoric do you have in mind?
No president ever transformed the entire machinery of the federal government into an instrument of political propaganda, censorship, and repression the way that Donald Trump has. As aspiring presidential dictators go, he is simply in a class by himself, which is why America now has a No Kings movement of tens of millions of Americans that has risen up to counter him. Trump makes no pretense of respecting any part of the First Amendment. He merges his insatiable greed and his authoritarian politics with his snarling dictatorial desire to stamp out any political, legislative, social, cultural, or intellectual expression that he personally disagrees with.
I have no personal problem with Donald Trump at all. I mean,
Who might listen to that and say, whoa, now we're talking Nazis in Germany. That seems extreme.
Well, the president is working to destroy our democracy from the inside out.
We have to defeat a person who is a threat to our democracy of the kind that we have not seen. At the beginning of our country.
This is the path to a dictatorship. That's what dictatorships do. It is so very, very frightening and damaging to our republic.
I'm not going to sugarcoat the gravity of what we face right now in the United States. This is the most significant threat to American democracy since the Civil War. Donald Trump in our country is trying to end our democracy. We are not on the verge of a totalitarian takeover. We are in the middle of it. He is trying to seize control of our courts.
Donald Trump is a significant threat to our democracy and our nation, and we have to stop him.
Mark Milley said, "No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core."
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
That is next level.
You know, when you hear that type of talk, for anybody to say it's not insightful, it isn't listening at all. And the thing that I'm starting to hear, and it just makes my stomach turn when I hear it, is the talk that, yes, well, I guess we do need to all dial it down enough, some on both sides. Everybody makes it out that it's just the left, but it's coming from both sides. I'm not saying that nobody was ever insightful on the right-hand side, but I'm telling you what, you add it all up, it's about 98-2, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot more to that, and we just don't want to keep playing it because it's pretty much the same thing. But we're talking about adults, we're talking about American citizens, we're talking about people who know what they're saying, know what the potential for it is, but just can't stop. It really is that, we hear about TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, and other ways of describing the mental capacity or the mindset of these people, and they just cannot stop. Jamie Raskin, there's another interview.
And who is Jamie Raskin?
Jamie Raskin is who is he? He's really nothing other than he is like, we've written about this before. I think you have it too, but they're useful idiots.
Right.
So Jamie Raskin is this little measly mental midget from Maryland. He's a congressman. He's a nasty dude, not very smart, but he's a useful idiot. He was Eric Swalwell. He is Eric Swalwell. And at some point will be done away with, just like Eric Swalwell was done away with for whatever reason. But he will do what others won't, and that is come out and say things like what he said. He was part of the impeachment process, blah, blah, blah. And there are others like him. So Swalwell and Adam Schiff, another useful idiot. These people will do whatever they think the left, they'll do whatever the left wants them to do because they want to be seen as leaders on the left, when in fact they're just useful idiot. A useful idiot never knows they're a useful idiot. Jasmine Crockett doesn't know she's a useful idiot. But now certainly we can look back and say, well, what else was she? They made her. It's like this. Rush Limbaugh used to say, and I've said this on the show before: if the media makes you, the media will break you. If anybody other than your own self and God make you, then that entity, that person can break you. It's just simple as that. So if the media makes you, the media can break you. If the political left wants to make somebody in their party a star, like Eric Swalwell, and they do it, then they will decide when it's time to go from the penthouse to the outhouse. It was exactly what they did with Swalwell, and they'll do it with these people. They'll do Adam Schiff's day's coming. Look, we know it's his day is coming. So, but Raskin in the other interview, where it was just him and the interviewer, when she said what talking about the rhetoric, he said in a real cocky, smart aleck way, well, what rhetoric are you talking about? As though I've not said anything that's inflammatory. I've not said anything that would cause some maniac on the West Coast to drive 4 or 5 days. He drove here. Why not just if you? I don't want to give anybody any ideas, but if I were that lunatic, and maybe it's because I'm lunatic that I wouldn't think of this,
No,
but
Scott, I'm sorry. He took the train.
he did take the train. Well, you know why? It's because he can't get on an airplane with that kind of stuff.
Right.
And a train, I've been on many trains on the East Coast many times. They don't check your
Right.
stuff.
That's why he went on
So
the train.
so he had it on his and he all that. But why not just wait? Why take the train for 4 days? Wait till Trump comes to California, or
Something he thought about that event was a good place to do it.
yeah, well, maybe it was because it was in the Hilton Hotel, which, by the way, is I know you know, Jeff, probably, but Sammy may not know this, and some others may not know. Ronald Reagan was shot and attempted
In that same room,
assassination
yes.
outside that room, outside the hotel, as he was getting into a limousine and almost died. He spent, I think, a couple of weeks in in the hospital there. So the Hilton is known for being a place upon which, uh, or at which assassinations took place. I thought it was interesting that uh, what was the guy shot President Reagan? Do you remember his name? I forget his name, but he's yeah, exactly. But he said he came out after this on Saturday and said, "What in the world? Why would you be attempting to do that at the Hilton?" And he did it at the Hilton. Uh, and if you remember that scene, he was taken. They knew exactly who he was. He was taken down right there on the spot and spent 30 some odd years in prison. But he shot 3 people, and four, I think. So it's just it's amazing. But for the left to be able to say, "What do you mean? What rhetoric are you talking about? We don't say anything
And
that's
for
bad."
them to say, and it's just as much from the right. And whoever was saying this the other day on the radio, they said, um, and everybody is still making fun of Nancy Pelosi's husband getting hit by a hammer.
Yeah,
I never heard anybody
yeah.
making fun, and everybody is still making jokes about the two legislators in Minnesota that were killed. I never heard anybody make any jokes about that.
Yeah, I mean, when you do something bad, you look for cover, and cover comes in all sorts of forms and methods, and that's what Jamie Raskin and the others are doing. I just can't. And my column coming in your poem next Monday is about this, and if we don't stop and say, "Wait a minute, we've reached a point now where hate as I close my column, that hate is about to push us over a cliff. If we don't do something, we have to do something in our own little sphere of influence. We must do something. So if I'm speaking that way, I mean, Jeff has uh, asked me or suggested times before that I don't use words like idiot and all that sort of thing, and I'm trying to tone that down. Although Jamie Raskin is an idiot, I've never gone to a place where somebody ought to be eradicated or shot or hurt or whatever. That's absurd. But if I'm a lunatic and I hear that constantly, like there are lots of lunatics, that my life is under a threat, I'm at risk, this guy's doing all this stuff, he's becoming a king, he's becoming a dictator, I'm not going to have this, I'm going to be hurt this way, blah blah blah. it's obvious that at some point you're going to want to do something about it. And if you're that crazed, you're going to want to do something about
It's
it.
like the Charlie Kirk situation.
Exactly.
It's
It's
that
no
rhetoric.
different.
It's that rhetoric that
No different.
Yeah.
Do we have the clip of Nora Roberts and Trump on 60 Minutes?
I don't think so. What's the other clip we have,
we
Sam?
have Hakeem Jeffries, the one we just did, and the Cowboys draft.
Oh yeah. So play Hakeem Jeffries real quick. Part of the reason why I don't want to belabor the point with the rhetoric, but Hakeem Jeffries, look, the midterms are coming up. All right. So we know that historically the party in power during the midterms gets its butt beat.
Right.
And in the House of Representatives. We're not going to lose the Senate. There is a chance that we will lose the House and have a split form of government and not have all three the branches, or not branches, but all three, whatever you want to call them, Senate, House of Representatives, and presidency.
Which leads to
impeachments
and legislative paralysis.
Yes, and the quagmire. So, but and so if the House of Representatives flips, becomes dominant, becomes the majority, becomes the Democrat, Hakeem Jeffries is 3 steps away, the third person in line to be the president of the United States. Now, I'm going to make the claim that
Because he's
Hakeem,
minority leader and he
yeah,
would become majority
yeah.
leader, and that puts him
Well, no, he wouldn't become majority leader.
majority leader of the reps.
If they flip, it goes Democrat, he'll be the Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
Speaker of the House is third in line to the presidency. So if Trump becomes incapacitated, J.D. Vance becomes incapacitated, then the Speaker of the House right now would be Mike Johnson. It's the way that it's the way progression works. There's a higher office. It's a senator. It's the majority leader. That's John Thune, but he's not in that progression for whatever reason.
And was Vance in that?
No,
no.
Vance was a new senator. Vance
No. At the.
Oh yeah, he was there, and they jerked him off the stage and quickly.
Historically, major corporations have had rules about not having
you don't
top executives on the same plane, and I think we're
been doing that.
We're playing it loosey goosey ever having those two
again,
together in public.
I went to the dinner in 2000, either 1 or 2. It might have been 2000, but when Bush and Cheney and they were both there, and much of the cabinet was there. But you're right. It's like you don't get on the same plane.
Yeah, that's a good point. They need to stop. They need to chill out with that.
I agree. But Hakeem Jeffries is the dude's nutty, and he's scary nutty. I want you to hear what he has to say about Trump. And if you've not heard him before, associate yourself with Hakeem Jeffries. He's a guy to watch for all the wrong reasons.
Violence is never the answer, whether it's targeted at the right, the left, or the center. We have issues that we have to work out amongst each other. That's embedded in the First Amendment that was being celebrated last night. But what is also embedded in the First Amendment is the right to peacefully protest and to petition the government.
What he once said.
We are in an era of maximum warfare. Everywhere, all the time.
Violence.
Is that it? Yeah, I mean, so what's that, months, days apart?
4 days apart.
4 days apart. So after Saturday night, these clowns get up and say that stuff, but they were just talking 5 days before about it's warfare. We got to resort to fighting, and I mean, there's a lot more of this stuff out there. So, but I don't know what's going to stop it. What's going to stop it? Well, Trump. I was listening to Clay Travis last night, who sold Outkick to Fox. Outkick is a site that's largely sports, but it's not satirical, but it's kind of your cocky, and he was talking about, look, this isn't going to be the last time they try to do it. And what the fear I have is that if it's not, which I would tend to agree with him, but what is the only answer here, Trump's death, for this to change? Because what else? We got Charlie Kirk's death. Wouldn't that have been enough?
It's changed zero.
Yeah, it's gotten worse. um, we see more hate every single day. And when we talk about the left and the right, I will tell you, if you don't already know, I'm MAGA, part of MAGA. Matter of fact, I got a hat that says MAGA up here, and the A is the color and shape of the Alabama logo. And and I'm proud to be that. What people say about Trump doesn't impact me at all, because I think I know better. Do I think he's Jesus Christ and the second perfect being in the planet? No, of course not. But I'm proud to be a MAGA, and there's not anybody I know other than Trump himself. Trump is the one on the right that has the loosest lips when it comes to incendiary stuff, is Donald Trump. But Donald Trump doesn't say somebody ought to take Nancy Pelosi out and get rid of her and destroy her or kill her or whatever. You just don't hear that from him. But it pushes them to the point of them going violent.
So on 60 Minutes, when Nora tried to back him in a corner on this whole issue, and he came back and he said, Nora, you should be ashamed. You are a disgrace. And then she kept it up, and he came back and he said the same thing twice. And then, like they've been doing, just like the week before when she was rough on him and he undressed her verbally. Now they got her. The CBS Nightly News has a little segment with her on Mondays following the Sunday, basically rehashing, reiterating, and justifying what she said.
I'll listen to her about as much as I listen to Jimmy Kimmel. The only thing I've ever heard her say was at debates, and she's awful at. She's as biased and partisan at managing or interviewing, or what do you call it, emceeing, narrating a debate as can be.
She did that one of those last ones, didn't she?
Yeah.
Was it the
With
Kamala?
Biden
Yeah,
and Trump.
yeah.
Yeah. So there you have it. What's it going to take? It's going to take each of us, you listening, us in this room, and everybody we know standing up, just one at a time, just saying, it's not acceptable anymore. That's not acceptable. And I say that to myself as much as anybody. In tomorrow's Sun, two columns that I'm really proud of, as I've already mentioned, Sammy's on the draft. No, what is yours on? I forgot. Oh, the stars. Yeah, I was thinking it was the draft. The stars. It's a really good column. Says a lot about what Sammy thinks where the stars stand. Tammy says the world today is at the point it happens to be the president. Someone would be trying to take the president. Yeah, it's amazing. The other column I want to mention is Mark Singleton, who, as many of you know, has been writing a series of columns in the Sun called Wake Up America. Mark is uniquely qualified to express his opinions and views about things that are certainly bank related. We know that, but Mark's a smart guy across the spectrum, and he can write about what it means to be on city council, to be a political leader, to be a community leader, to be an investor in the community, all sorts of things. Mark's a dad. They got he got a son that's old, and a little bit older than Sammy. I think he's still in his 20s, and then a beautiful family. And so Mark now writes a column in the Sun, and I think the columns are excellent, and I like to step out of the way and let Mark have that space because I don't want to take away or distract people from reading it. So tomorrow's column is exceptionally good. They're all very good. Tomorrow's is really good because it talks about, I don't want to steal Mark's thunder, but it talks about something I think contributes to where we've come to in this country, in that there are things that we often hear or say that have no basis in truth. But because we've never ever said what or why or is that right or we just assumed that it was correct, and so we get
Like
statements.
the Democratic rhetoric.
Yeah, so it's a great point. So when you hear these guys and gals say Trump's a dictator, he wants to be a fascist, I don't even know if half of them know what a fascist is, but that's people saying it, and you say it long enough, certain people will believe it. It's as demonstrably untrue as anything you could. I can prove that Trump isn't a fascist or a king or whatever in a matter of 3 seconds. One is that kings and fascists wouldn't let people do what the people that are calling him those names do. You go to Russia and see how quickly you disappear when you start calling Putin any name that's derogatory that is used against Trump. Just think of how quickly you would be taken out. Go to China and or North Korea certainly, but China, and start saying uh, whatever Xi is any name you want to pick. See how quickly you will not be seen very much.
Right.
But the idea that we just believe something because we hear it, and then suddenly we start believing that it's true, only to find out it's not true. It reminds me of the story of a guy walked into a bar one time and he saw a newspaper sitting over on the counter on the bar. And all the headline was it said bad times are coming, be prepared. And that's all he saw. All right. So he decided, oh my goodness, bad times are coming, be prepared, make changes. He said that worries me. He went home, he called his wife. He said, honey, we got to put ourselves on a budget. Bad times are coming. We got to be careful. The wife calls her friend. That friend calls the cleaners where she got her stuff longer. I can't come there anymore. Bad times are coming. The laundry guy calls up his yard service and says, I can't afford this anymore. Bad times are coming. So it trickles out. Bad times are coming. And the guy's so despondent. The next day he decides he's going to go back to the same bar to have another drink, and he gets up to the newspaper
There's a punchline coming, and I can't figure it out.
well, and he gets closer to the paper and he looks and realizes the paper was one from 10 years ago. And so, but he never stopped to say, wait a minute, let me take a closer look.
Right.
And that's what we do. And I'm not going to, you have to read Mark's column. It's very good. And he talks
Can't
about
wait.
two really good examples of what I'm saying. So I'll leave those on, for you to read. But the idea that we just take at face value what people say and then assume it's the truth, no time in my lifetime have I been so certain that we ought to be asking ourselves, wait a second, I got to double check that. Like in one of our true facts here, was that Ronnie Lott of the San Francisco 49ers, this book says, had he injured his finger and decided he would have it cut off in a game so that he could keep playing. So if I said that without saying, wait a second, that sounds just not, that's too much. If I said if I didn't say that's too much, I would have just believed it and told you guys, and people would have heard it and said, wow. And then somebody would have told somebody. Well, I went and looked it up. And what happened was Ronnie Lott was injured in a game in his finger and decided for the remedy was to cut the tip where he got it injured, cut the tip off so that he could be ready to play the following season. All right, it's still rather dramatic, but there's a difference between it being cut off in the middle of a game, unlike the picture in the trainer cutting it off and putting a big bandage on it. There's a difference, but it's the same thing that happens that often. All right, it's rhyme time. What do we got?
This is from the tumultuous days of 2000, which we never thought would be more tumultuous until we get to 2025. It's called introspection. You ready for it, Sam? Single, white, and free. Who else used to say this besides me? Never gave it much thought, though I guess that I ought. I never coined the phrase, but used it in past days. My Google research reveals I had it wrong all along. It's free, white, and 21, meaning beholden to no one. It was a way of saying, without really saying, this white guy caught a break. That is certainly not a fake. It is what it was. It was what it is. I knew what it was, and I just kept minding my biz. I guess it was crass, but I never felt like an ass. Just a thankful white guy who wore a nice tie. I'm starting to think I was really a dink, not to question the norm, not to cause any storm. Now the pendulum done swung with the beat of the drum. New sayings are sung, with loud shouts they are rung. Yes, the past had much wrong, with a change due far too long. Since M.L. King had a dream, little's changed, it does seem. But let's watch our breath for a minute. Let's catch our breath for a minute. Let's be careful how we spin it. Words have their appeal, but action's the real deal. Let's move past all the clatter and get on with what matters. With equality for all, then life is a ball. Put love in your heart, and you'll have done your part.
Very good.
Thank you.
All right, before we do day in history, I forgot a tarnation, and if I don't say it, I'm going to bump my head against the wall. Dallas, and I've lived in a lot of different places in this country, but the Dallas television stations and their obsession with interrupting television programs to tell us about the weather drives me to drink. I think the whole game, literally. And 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 I get it. Put the little, just give us the what the thing that scrolls at the bottom. Y'all gonna learn something today you didn't know before. You know what that little thing at the bottom that streams across is called? Chyron. Chyron. That's the streamer at the bottom.
Okay.
Just tell us there. But Pete Delkus, he's got. I mean, I make fun of him all the time. I'm telling you, but he's got to be decked out with his hair slicked back, and he wants to be on that show. In this case, it was Saturday night. And it's like, enough already.
He comes in from Frisco. When there's crisis, he wants it. And I love Pete, and I think he's the best dressed guy in the world. And here's the deal: use the bar, come in. You can come in and do your actual talking and put up your screens. 1 minute. Get it done in 1 minute, not 5, and we will gladly
They all do
celebrate
it.
it. I
They
know.
all do it.
Well, they all do.
It's
Yeah.
just, if one does it, the rest are going to do it. Drives me nuts. Anyway, all right, day in history. Let's hear it.
And today's April 28th, and I haven't been giving you this like I should all the time. It's the 118th day of the year, leaving 247 left. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, mutineers led by Fletcher Christian took control of the ship HMS Bounty 3 weeks after departing Tahiti, setting the ship's captain, Lieutenant William Bligh, and 18 other crew members adrift on a launch in the Pacific Ocean. Bligh and the other men on the launch eventually reached the island of Timor in Southeast Asia after a 3,600-mile floating.
That's crazy. I'm gonna go 1822.
1773.
1789.
Dang it.
Century.
Italian dictator Benito Mussolini and his mistress Clara Fitacca were executed by Italian partisans after attempting to flee the country. Put in the right war, Sammy.
I didn't hear a war.
We ain't got all day.
1849.
Ooh, I was going to say 1842.
He was the dictator that went along with Hitler in
Just
World
tell
War
us the
II.
answer.
1945. It was the
Oh,
middle of
let's
World
go.
War II.
Let's go.
A 6-man expedition led by Norwegian Thor Heyerdahl set out from Peru aboard a balsa wood craft named the Bonus. I didn't get it.
I don't know.
There's a famous book named after it.
Oh, the Castaway. The Castaway.
Kon-Tiki.
Oh.
Kon-Tiki on a 101-day journey, 4,300 miles across the Pacific to the Polynesian Islands. Now we've seen 2 big trips.
1909.
He just said 1945.
Oh, I thought it was 1845.
No.
Oh, 1952.
1942.
47.
Yes.
Oh, we both got it.
We just had 45. President Lyndon B. Johnson sent U.S. troops to the Dominican Republic to prevent a communist dictatorship there amidst unrest as various armed groups vied for power. A conservative government was established in 1966.
Mm-hmm.
So
1959.
1964.
65.
Oh.
I guess 64 also.
Did you?
Heavyweight boxing champion Muhammad Ali, one of our heroes, Scott and mine, was stripped of his WBA title after he refused to be inducted into the U.S. Army. He was a man of principle.
68.
Not bad, Sam. I believe it was 1971.
Sam, 1967 for the
Ooh.
bonus.
Nice, Sam.
For the
Ooh.
bonus.
Oh, wait, he said 68.
Yeah.
What was his real name?
I had the bonus.
Cassius Clay.
Cassius
Yeah.
Clay. Cassius Clay.
Oh, you had the bonus?
I had the
Good.
bonus, yes. Former CIA official Aldrich Ames, who had passed U.S. secrets to the Soviet Union and then Russia, same country, two names,
Yep.
pleaded guilty to espionage and tax evasion and was sentenced to life in prison without parole.
Where he sits today. Unless he died.
84.
Good, Sam. I say 89.
94.
Yeehaw.
You're in there. A Russian rocket lifted off from Central Asia carrying the first space tourist, California businessman Dennis Tito, and two cosmonauts on a journey to the International Space Station.
2000.
That's the last one?
No, I got one more.
2011.
2005.
You were closer when you said 2000, 2001.
Dang it.
And still lost.
And the
Ah.
first world images of prisoner abuse and torture by U.S. troops at Abu Ghraib prisons in Iraq via broadcast on CBS television program 60 Minutes 2.
I don't know. 2010.
2016.
2004, you're in there.
Let's
Oh,
go.
man.
For those of you who don't
4,
know,
5, and 3.
okay,
Way to go, Sam.
5 and 3.
6 and 3. All right.
All right.
What you got?
True
What you
facts
got?
that aren't true. Or maybe they are. All right, ready? Is basketball one. Kobe Bryant's parents had to co-sign his very first NBA contract. True or false? His parents had to co-sign his contract.
All right, I got my answer. You go first, Jeffrey.
I got no reason to not think that they did, so I'll say yes.
I say yes too. He's probably 17 years
Kobe
old.
was drafted straight out of high school and was technically still a minor at the time. He couldn't sign his own contract till he turned 18 years old.
Yeah, he was 17. I knew it. I knew
Very
it.
good, boys. All right,
There you
our sponsor is Hoosier Custom Meats out of Italy, Texas. Sammy and I have been going to Avalon every Friday morning. We have a good time, father-son time, and then we spend some time at a high school there. So we're becoming more familiar with at least the McDonald's in Italy. But anyway, Italy, Texas is where Hoosier Custom Meats. They are family-owned farm, ranch, whatever you want to call it. They raise their own beef and make great food out of that. So we are proud to recommend them to you. Tell them the GGN boys sent you. Check them out. Their phone number and their address, mail address, email address is on the, or their website is on the screen. HoosierCustomMeats.com. Thank you for being with us. We'll be back on Thursday.
And try to make it a great day. And please try to put a smile on somebody's face today.
Go. Stars, go.
How about those guys?